So we are good. A warm welcome, everybody. We're going to be starting in just a few minutes. But let's just take a moment to really plug this, really plug this in the different groups. I'm going to be introducing myself shortly. And whilst we're doing that, guys, can we just take a moment to be grateful? What are you grateful for today? Just put in the chat box, guys, what you are grateful for today. What are you grateful for? Sometimes we forget, don't we? We forget that we used to pray for what we have now. Do you remember those days? Do you remember when you used to pray for what you have now? You know, maybe the house you're living in, the car that you're driving, the kids that you have, that you once prayed that you would have kids, and now you have kids, and now you're getting stressed because they're playing up, but you forgot that you prayed for them. Okay, what are we grateful for? What are we grateful? Grateful for family and friends, health. Amazing, guys. Let's take a moment. I'm grateful to be alive and healthy. Absolutely. Let's just be grateful, guys. Do you know your life is on someone else's vision board? Just take a moment to just deep that for a second. That your life, all the things that you have, is on someone's vision board. Somebody would give their right arm to be in your shoes right now. I'm grateful to be blessed. Absolutely. I'm grateful for the opportunity to listen and learn every day. Des, you knew my day to day with my kids. And they've been little terrors. Guys, let us plug. I know that a lot of people watch this show back. A lot of people message me like the next day and they're like, oh my God, that episode of finance and property and finance was amazing. I couldn't watch it live because whatever it may be, people are either going to bed early or they're watching Question Time. It's one of the two things. Tape Question Time, guys. I've got it on record. I'm going to watch it later. No problem. Wow. April Lee's grateful for her team. Absolutely sensational. So, guys, let me turn on my camera. Let me just message let me introduce myself real quick. So I know we've got some guests on the call. My name is Des Amey. I'm the proud managing director of the company Amey Finance Academy based in the Canary Wharf Tower. And I'm a wealth creation specialist. I'm a residual income specialist. I've been doing this now for about 3 years, helping people to achieve financial independence. Prior to this, I was a secondary school teacher for 14 years, working as an assistant head teacher, loving the job, but hated being broke, living paycheck to paycheck, living month to month. Everything changed for me when I was introduced to the platform I Am Mastery Academy, and it changed my whole life. I literally went from being a struggling school teacher to a multi six-figure income earner. Everything's different. Let's just leave it there. You know, everything's changed. Conversations are different. It's been a movie. It's been an absolute movie. But that being said, my background is also in property and finance. I'm an ex-mortgage broker. I spent 3 years as a mortgage broker. Some people on this very call I've helped to buy houses. Kofi Ajiman, if you guys know Kofi Ajiman, I helped to buy his first property. We're now on the road to getting his second one. So I've always been interested in property. You know, I've got a nice portfolio. I teach people how to build their portfolios. I've got a book about to be released called Starting Your Property Side Hustle. So I love property, and that's why we have this property and finance hour. We try to do it every single Thursday. Sometimes we don't fulfill that, but that's the aim. And we invite different guests on. We're more than just a trading academy here at Amey Finance. We're more than just a trading academy. We like to give you value. You know, we're one of the only teams that really give you that good quality property education. And it's my wow. Jessica said it's one of her favorite calls of the week. It's with my pleasure that I get to introduce the guest for today. He's someone who I have huge amounts of respect for because of his vision, because of his love for property, because of his heart. He's someone who I've got to know, very well over the last year or so. It's been we network together, we chill, I've also handed over my property portfolio, so he's managing my properties, and that's how much trust that I have in him. He knows his stuff, guys. He absolutely knows his stuff. I didn't hesitate when I gave him the first set of keys. No problem, And this was, oh, by the way, he was my guy before he was a celebrity. So I didn't just jump on the bandwagon. It wasn't like, I've seen him on TV. I'm going to go and stalk him, find him. Now I want you to be my property guy. No. Before he blew up, it's only now he's a bit bougie. You have to, when you get, you'd have to, when he was humble, no problem. Now he's a mega star. It's difficult. The king of Stratford and East London. But the star of the hit TV program, Rent Like a Boss. But do not get it twisted, guys. This guy's not just about renting. He also, yes, when it comes to lettings and renting, yeah, his knowledge is second to none. But also sales. He does sales as well. He's in the buying and selling of property as well. So I want you to, guys, go and get a fresh notepad. Go and get a fresh notepad. Don't come with that old notepad. I'm going to give you a few seconds. Go and get a fresh one. Get a new pen, because I don't want this pen to run out, because you are going to get cramp in your hand from the notes that you're going to be taking, guys. So, guys, can we just give a nice warm Amey Finance Academy welcome to my friend, my business partner, my networker. Can we give a nice warm Amey Finance Academy? You can do that however you wish. If you want to do a 777 in the chat box, that's absolutely fine. However you want to give that warm welcome, let's just make him feel comfortable as he comes through to drop bars. Guys, when he's talking, if he's saying something and you're feeling it, I want you to put fire emojis in the chat box as he's talking. Yeah. And if he's saying something and you're like, oh my God, this is deep, I want you to put diamonds, just put gems. Like he's saying something that's, put gems in there. And if he's saying something that's blowing your mind, I want you to put bombs in the chat box. Okay. That's what we're going to be doing today. So whenever you feel ready, you can just drop them in. But guys, he's ready. He's waiting. Without further ado, yes, it is. I've just seen that private message up. Without further ado, allow me to bring to the hot seat the famous, the infamous Tobias Alexander. Wow.
Hi, everyone. How are we doing?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Thanks so much for having me, Des. It's a true honor. I'm not sure how many people are in the room, but I'm going to act as if it's just a few of us, because a lot of people having to present may make me a bit nervous, but thank you very much for having me today. All the titles you've given me, debatable, celebrity debatable, but I appreciate it nonetheless, and I'm looking forward to having an informative and fun chat with you guys about property.
Nice. We're absolutely welcome. Glad to have you. We have coming up to 60 people on the call, and then we have about hundreds of people watching it back in the morning as well. So yeah, this is exciting. Very, very, very exciting. Why don't you start by telling us a bit about yourself and your background? And guys, just a reminder, have your questions ready, because most of this will probably be a bit of a Q&A. But yeah, just tell us a bit about yourself and a bit about your background.
Cool. Well, yeah. So I've been an agent. I've been an estate agent since 2013. My first job, actually, I started in retail, and from there, I think it's a very important place to start in terms of gaining interpersonal skills, knowing how to speak to people of different, interests, income levels, backgrounds, all sorts of professions. It just is a real opener for you, and I think the skills that it provides you with allow you to enter into any sales profession and know how to deal with people. Not everyone's going to want to buy your products. Not everybody's going to have an interest in buying your products, but you treat them all one and the same. And that's, I think, very imperative with starting in retail. So, I did my rounds in retail, and then I got into a state agency. And the reason I got into a state agency was because when I was younger, this is me, my twin sister, she's in the chat. Hi, Maya, I see you. And that's my mum up there. So when I was younger, I was listening to we moved house quite a few times, and I listened to my mum speaking to an estate agent and basically saying exactly what we were looking for, right? And I sat by the phone, I listened to her speaking, saying we want to be near a park, we want someone with a nice garden, we want to be near to the transport links to the schools and stuff. when you're young, you don't really understand any of this stuff, but I was listening intently anyway. And we did a few viewings, and for me, it was really impressive to see that the estate agent actually listened to what my mum was asking for. I'd actually found something with a nice garden, it was bright, it was airy, it was near the transport links. And, really, my main thing is listening to people, right? Regardless of my profession, people come first. I've always loved people, and listening to them and, being able to help them out in situations is imperative to me. And it's actually number one. And so the reason I got into the estate agency was after hearing this particular gentleman explain why he had chosen to show us certain places, and the fact that he'd actually listened to my mum, it was absolutely key to me. And I remember I went back after getting into a state agency many years later. I went back into his office and I just bought him a little bottle and said, thank you very much, because without you, without your attentiveness, I don't think I would have chosen this particular career. Because when I went to college, I'll be honest with you guys, I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be a mechanical engineer, but things changed, and I'm super happy to be in the profession that I'm in now. I've been in a state agency since 2013, and I started in a place called East Village, which is in Stratford. It's actually where I live now, which is where the Olympic athletes used to live during the Olympic Games. And yeah, so I started there. I was there for about 2 years or so. Before I left, I was actually I was the top negotiator before I left. But I just thought, it's time for me to spread my wings. I've learned the kind of demographic here. I've learned the properties. Sorry, it just froze for a minute there. I wondered if it was me. My skill set, my knowledge, my experiences in different areas. And so I moved around a little bit. I've worked at high street agents. I've worked at independent agents. I've worked at family-run businesses, property investment companies, all in different parts of London, from London Bridge to Nine Elms to Shoreditch to Barnet to Croydon. So I've had quite a good, decent exposure to different parts of London and different demographics, which has really helped me in my career. And fast forward 8 years, because we're 2021 now, I've actually set up my own business, and that is Alexander Rose Estates. So for me, it's a modern take on a family business, and I'll explain why. Because Alexander is my mum's surname, and Rose is my dad's. So it's got quite a nice ring to it when you put it together, Alexander Rose Estates. And it's basically my interpretation of a family business. Anybody that comes, I say through our doors, but at the moment working from home, anybody who comes into experience with us is treated like family. That's literally my ethos. Whether it's the applicants that are applying for either lettings, it's the buyers, it's the sellers, it's the landlords, it's the cleaners. Everyone is treated like family, and that's my ethos, and I stand strongly by it. And you never know. It's not always about what you know, it's who you know. One of my cleaners, in fact, the lady who cleans my flat, she introduced me to a landlord who's got a crazy portfolio, and we're working together. So it's really not about who you think's got big bucks and who's flashing the money and things like that, who you think you can do good business with, but you literally just have to just be kind, treat everybody like you want to be treated, and that's really the ethos that I think keeps my business going. Just about being somebody that can help, being somebody that's not always in it for commission, because I'll tell you one thing, money can be spent overnight, but experiences last forever. So I know it sounds a bit cliche, but literally you can spend your commission overnight, but if you actually create a good relationship with people and you leave a good impression, and you manage their aspirations well, these are the people that are going to remember you. They're going to perhaps refer you to friends, family, and you develop what's called alternate routes of business. So the initial business that you entered into isn't always the last stop, So, and from experience as well, I've had landlords recommend me to other landlords who in turn have given me their properties to rent. And I just find it's the best way of growing. It's organic growth. And once again, it ties into the rose nicely, because we're talking about growth. Water your seeds, honestly. I'll probably talk a bit much, but I'm happy to take a little break, answer any questions.
Who's your favorite landlord, bro?
I'll tell you what. There's this guy that's entrusted me one of his properties. His name's forget it. Des. There's like, of course, you're my
Interesting
favorite.
you mentioned about the Athletes Village, because I actually worked there as a games maker during
Oh no way! No,
I was a
with the
game.
backpack on,
I had the back.
the
I had the
backpack,
I
and
had,
it's got
I had
like a flag that says
yeah,
water.
I had
All right.
all of that. I was in the Athletes Village. I could write a book on what I saw during my time there, but that's a story for another day. Tell us a bit about the hit TV program Rent Like a Boss.
Oh, this was a lot of fun. So if you guys haven't seen it, it was on BBC One, it was on BBC Three as well. It's now on BBC iPlayer, so make sure you pay your TV license and check it out. It's called Rent Like a Boss. There's 4 episodes. We spent 2 weeks filming, and we went to Belfast, we went to Stanmore, which I learned is in Scotland. We went to Liverpool, Leeds, Leicester, Manchester, Wolverhampton, Birmingham. All of this was in 4 weeks, 2 weeks, sorry. And it got condensed into 4 episodes of 20 minutes each. It's a good laugh. There's some educational bits in there, as well as, like some fun, and like me and my co-star had a bit of a bromance. Like it's definitely a good vibe. And yeah, it's just about basically helping young renters get onto, realize what it is that they need in order to rent properties. Because a lot of people, it's their first time flying the nest. It's their first time, renting a property, and not everybody knows which way to turn. Not everybody is confident that they meet the eligibility. So it was basically an informative platform in which to educate people what is required in order to rent. Because a lot of the time with the young people, the age of renting is getting younger and younger. So it's the young people that we kind of need to look out for. And we need to tell them things about guarantors, household income, um, break clauses, and just things like that. We need to really look after people and make sure that they're getting the right advice, and that they're in the best hands. Because there are a lot of agents out there. There's a lot of great agents, but there's a lot of agents out there that will take advantage, and it ultimately gives us a bad name. I think the last time I checked, we were the 7th least trusted profession in the UK. Something near like
Were you hiding traders?
we hired and traded. I don't think we could ever be hired and traded, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, I'm single-handedly working to kind of change that narrative. So
Doing
a
a
good
very good job.
ethos and good morals, and just being attentive and listening. That's definitely how I intend to do so.
Definitely doing a good job there, sir. I want to enter a bit of a debate, and it's something that's actually going to resonate with a lot of people. You see, obviously, I've spent a lot of time in property, and I can see that my property business partner is on the Zoom as well, Erica Fremantle. And in the UK, there's this pressure to be a homeowner. You feel like it's something that you feel quite early on. I remember being at uni and thinking that I need to get on the property ladder. And I know it's something that weighs heavy on a lot of people's minds. And it's this big kind of relief and party when you get that mortgage, and it's like, you get your photo on Facebook, the famous picture outside. We've got a mortgage. We celebrate this 30-year. We celebrate this 30-year debt, this 35. It's funny what we celebrate, right? We celebrate a 35-year debt. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I do think it's good to be on a property ladder, but there's just pressure to be on a property ladder. Whereas when you go on the continent in Europe, it's not so much the case. Like in France, home ownership is not that big a deal. It's actually in France and in the Netherlands, it's quite normal to rent. And in fact, tenants have, a lot of the power, and there's not this pressure. It's not that in the UK there's this pressure to be a homeowner. You don't quite feel that in Europe. Obviously, being someone who's an estate agent and a lettings agent, what would you say to people who are kind of in that quandary where they're not really sure what to do right now in terms of renting home ownership?
I'll be honest with you. I've had this discussion quite a lot recently with obviously the stamp duty holiday extension. A lot of people are rushing to buy, trying to save that 15 grand or up to 15 grand, I should say, dependent on circumstances. And you have to be honest with people. You have to just say, look, and I have said this. I have said to people, if it's not the right time for you, don't force it, because you don't want to be in a position where you've saved a bit of money, but you've made a decision that you're having some kind of regrets about. It has to be the right time. You have to be financially viable. You have to be in a place where what's required of you, and you're ready for that commitment. It's a big purchase that you're about to be making, And it's not to be taken lightly. It's not something that requires little thought. Lettings, on the other hand, is a much shorter commitment. You're looking at perhaps 12 months, perhaps longer, up to 3 years with a standard AST, a short hold tenancy. So it's a much shorter commitment. A lot of people that perhaps are eligible to be buying properties, we now find that they're renting just because there's a lot less maintenance involved, which is a good bit of feedback that I'm hearing. If you own a property and you own the freehold, you're having to take care of everything. If you're renting, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a leasehold. So the building maintenance is upheld not by yourself. So it's a lot less to deal with. And so I find that even people that would normally be thinking about buying, especially if they're trying a new area, they're going to rent there. They're going to see what it's like, maybe for up to a year, and see if it's really where they want to be based. And I really appreciate people that are able to be honest with me when they're looking, and they say, "Look, we're quite new to this area. What do you think about it?" I can obviously give my honest opinion from experience as well. But it's when people are really keen on something and they say, "You know what? We want to try the area out. We want to see what it's like, because we want to see what life is like normally, how the schools are, all sorts of things. How many parks there are nearby." I get asked all sorts of questions, and for me, I appreciate that these are good buying signals. If somebody is keen to be in an area that they're not quite used to, try before you buy. If you've got the means to, renting it for maybe 6 months and see if it's really where you want to be. And the reason I'm saying when moving to different areas, because we don't have to necessarily at this moment be close to our jobs, close to our offices. A lot of people are moving to where they actually would like to be, whether it's somewhere near the sea, it's somewhere that's a little bit further out, we can get more for your money. But everyone, each to their own. And it does make for some very interesting conversations. I think people have a bit more flexibility now. So I completely agree with you, Des. There is a kind of stigma of owning your own property. I think we've all kind of been there, or we've all had that kind of image in our heads, like, that's success, holding the keys and saying, yeah, like completion day, we're moving in today. It would be great. But, it's the truth is that's not the reality for everybody, but there are so many other things that are important aside from actually owning a property. And so you have to be definitely ready for that. My bit of advice is this: you have to be ready. You have to know what you're getting yourself into. There are a number of schemes that you may be eligible for, but just take your time, research the market, research the areas of interest to you, and speak to somebody that's in the business, because ultimately it's always good to learn from people that are actually on the ground and in the field, as to say. And advice is free. So
Absolutely. I think one of the fears, or one of the things that holds people back from renting, is this notion of you're renting, so it's making it harder to save for a deposit because you're renting, so often you're paying a higher amount of rent than you would if you had a mortgage, right? So you're there, breaking your neck to pay this rent, not being able to save a deposit for a house. And then there's this whole kind of notion of, I'm paying someone's mortgage, should we pay my own mortgage? How do you what can you say to someone who's
I've been in this situation, and if I'm honest with you, it's a pride thing, that you're paying somebody else's mortgage. You want to be, paying your own, and getting closer and closer to ownership. But it's just a small stepping stone for a lot of people, it's a stepping stone in order for them to actually get to that level of ownership. Remember, if you take away one thing today, and I want to see a lot of gems in the comments, yeah, the arrow must be pulled back before it can fly forward. All right, so that means it means take small steps until you're actually ready to make that big jump. Take small steps. There's no pride in renting something when you're not quite ready to buy. There's absolutely no. There's I don't think anybody can look bad at you for renting something. I mean, I rent my place. I don't own it yet. I'm 31. I was 31 in January. I'd like to own something right now, but it's not my time. You must always trust the timing, and you must always be confident that you're on the right path, and you're in competition with nobody.
That's it. That's the key there, isn't it? No, because I think a lot of people, they're keeping up with the Joneses, and the thing is, the Joneses are broke. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses. The Joneses are broke, but that's the problem right there. It's your friend has got a mortgage.
Yeah.
And we're potentially breaking our necks for something that we're not ready for. I think that's the message that you're giving out.
Of course, it's good to have people, and it's imperative to have people around you that are doing these things, making these moves, inspiring you, making you feel like, yeah, this is the level I want to work towards.
That's
But
true.
if it's without of your means, don't do too much, because it's way more important to be confident and comfortable in your lane, knowing what you're doing and knowing that you're kind of paving a way and setting yourself up for that, so that when it comes to that time, you can actually embrace it wholeheartedly, as opposed to feeling like you haven't done you haven't like you've skipped a few steps. It's important to have people around you that are inspirational, motivating, and I'm happy to say I've got a great group of friends around me. And oh, what's my best tip or hack in relation to what I'm just talking about? I'd say, I'd say if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You need to be around people that are going to inspire you, that are going to push you, that are going to challenge you, that are going to be, your accountability partners. It's very important, because if you're a one-man band, you only have yourself to answer to, or one-woman band, sorry. You only have yourself to answer to. It's not, you have no other person of influence, and you must have a sphere of influence that inspires you all the time, keeps you motivated, and keeps you driven and grounded at the same time. So my one tip, and it crosses so many borders. It's not just property, it's not just finance, but if you want to succeed in life, you can't do it on your own. You have to have people with you that want the same things as you do, and that support you, and that value you, and they want the best for you.
Your network is your net worth.
Your network is your net worth. Absolutely.
I want you to think about. In fact, I want you to think right now about the 7 people that you spend the most time with, guys. Think about the 7 people that you spend the most time with right now. You are the sum total of those 7 people.
I'm gonna write this down as well.
Guys, can I get a little gem? Can I get a little diamond on that?
No,
I'm joking. I don't need a gem.
reaction.
I can see Erica Fremantle on the call. I spend as much time with Erica Fremantle as possible. If you know she's, that I'm just clinging on to her coattails, because guys, your network is your net worth. I woke up today. I hope she doesn't mind me saying that she bought me a plane ticket to somewhere nice around the world. And I want to be around people like that. I just wake up and it's like,
yeah,
all expenses paid trips. I'm like, thank you, Erica. That's very nice of you.
That's brilliant. But yeah, that's mainly it. I'd say definitely keep people around you that just want the best for you. And just, I'll tell you another tip. Not everything you see online is reality. A lot of people get caught up in the social media, is thinking that, everyone's winning, everyone's beautiful, everyone's got this, everyone's got that. Like, just humble yourself, and be, look, what you need to do actually, and this is something that I've started doing. If you don't achieve everything you want to achieve in the day, take a step back and have a look at the week. On your phone, you've got the calendar, you've got the day view, you've got the week view and the month view, and even the year view. Take steps back and see where you were this time last week, last month, last year. If you really want to see how far you've come, it's not going to be daily. It's not every day you discover the wheel or something. It takes a lot longer than that. And so just take a little step back and appreciate how far you've come. Take breaks. It's just something I need to take heed of. Take regular breaks, and just, health is absolutely wealth. And if you're not healthy and you're like myself trying to build something, you can't do it efficiently. So I definitely recommend that you put yourself first. Take care of yourself, and when you're in the best shape, mentally, physically, emotionally, you can apply all of that to your business, because otherwise it's not going to work.
Absolutely. We've got some questions coming.
Don't believe the things you see on Insta. There you go. Sorry, I've just jumped in the chat for the first time. All the direct messages, I will answer them as soon as I can. I don't want to take away from the main message. Absolutely, don't believe everything you see online, because people only post the best bits.
Absolutely. Don't let yeah, people, you only see the highlights. Don't let people
see the highlights. You only see the highlights. You don't see the struggle. You don't see the hardships. I call it the trial behind the smile. All right. So nobody can ever think that always give the impression that things are well, because you don't know how many people are looking to you and relying on you and just looking for inspiration. And so, you got to be strong, not just for yourself, but for other people as well. And it's a feeling of fulfillment.
People are comparing other people's highlights to their behind the scenes.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, I
that's
like
the
that.
problem.
I like that. I'll tell you what, guys, this is hard. Like, it's hard. We're in the middle of a lockdown. I haven't had a haircut. I'm I'm doing viewings, wearing masks, gloves, hand sanitizer, shoe covers. I'm doing the best that I can. I've rented properties in lockdown. I've sold properties in lockdown. It's not easy, and the people that are unable to work, I honestly I do sympathise, because even being able to work, it's still hard given the conditions. But and we're living in such a strange time now where we don't know what's around the corner. I heard a weird rumor earlier on that I'm not going to mention here because I really don't want to jinx it, regarding when lockdown lifts. But I'm hoping that we can go back to some normality soon, because Zoom is great and that, but networking in person is there's nothing like it. I'm a lot taller in person, but you wouldn't be able to tell on the Zoom. And yeah, it's been tricky, it's been hard, but everybody that is checking in, listening into this, I just say, look, keep striving, keep grafting, keep crafting, and it will come. Trust the process.
So there's a lot of questions coming through, which is great. I'm gonna
So
get
please ask them, because I can't keep up with
yeah, no,
everything.
I'm gonna definitely read them out. I just want to get my question in quickly, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
go to the questions in the chat. So there are a lot of people who are on here because they do want to get on the property ladder. They do want to own property. They do want to build a portfolio, and that's absolutely all good and well. So to people who are trying to get on the ladder, they're trying to get that first home, whether it's to live in or maybe for investment. Being on in the inside, is there what kind of advice can you give to people who are trying? How many of you are first time buyers? Put number one in the chat box if you're a first time buyer, like it'd be your first property. Any first time buyers on the call? Wow, wow, wow. Few first time buyers. Okay, so I'm talking. It's okay. Haha, I wish. First time buyers. Okay, so a few first time buyers. So you know, people who are looking to to get on the ladder. What advice can you give to first time buyers right now?
First time buyers, take your time. Make the It's a crazy time for first time buyers, because you've got so many incentives. You've got the 95% mortgages, meaning that you can put a deposit down from as little as 5%, and that's a great incentive for
Oof.
people that I know. If it was put a little fire in there. I'm gonna leave that to you, Des.
5%, guys, that 5% is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It's been 10% for a long time. 5% has been around, but it was always like with a higher lending charge.
And now the big lenders are taking to it. So there's a lot
Yes.
more. There's a lot more borrowing power to the first-time buyers, and this is obviously a great incentive, coupled with the stamp duty holiday extension, which ends at the end of June. Just so you know. But my advice for first-time buyers is do your research. Firstly, find out where it is you want, what the purpose of buying is. Is it to live in, or is it to invest in? Right. Once you've figured out which of the two it is, your criteria will change slightly. You might not be so concerned about what the neighborhood is like, or what the area is like, or how close it is to transport links. If it's either buying to live in or to invest in, there are different kind of criteria that come with either purchase. But find out which one it is you want to do, and then do your due diligence. A lot of the time when I do viewings with people, I actually take them around the area. I'll take them around the area. I'll take them, if we haven't got all that time, I'll take them around the block. I say, this is where this is, this is where that is, this is where that is. I make them feel accustomed to the area, because as the professional, you will know more than the person coming to view, because a lot of the time people don't know what they want. And so I speak to people all the time. I qualify them on the phone. I say, look, what do you like to do on the weekends? Like, aside from COVID, what do you like to do on the weekends? Oh, I like to go for walks with my dog. I like to do this. I say, okay, cool. You need to be near some green space, just as an example. But you have to ask the right questions. And by asking the right questions, you listen to understand and not to respond, right? So you're asking the questions, let the other person speak, and you find out what their criteria is. It doesn't have to be like a conveyor belt. How much is your budget? Have you got an agreement in principle? These kind of things. Just find out about people, and remember that you are the basically the voice of reason. You are the person that's there to help them. They may say, for example, I'm looking for a 2-bed in King's Cross, let's say. And then once you find out what their reasons are, you might have a 2-bed that's in another location and think, you know what, I've got something that you would actually like, and you can help people with what they actually want. But first things first, sorry, I would say know what it is that whether you want to live in the property as
Someone
an owner.
summarize this in the chat box, please. These nuggets. Sorry, gone.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're going to want to realize whether you want to invest, you want a property as an investment, or if you want to actually live in there for yourself. Once you figure that out, have a look at what kind of areas you're interested in. You know, what's your criteria in terms of how much can you afford? Speak with a professional. Speak with if it's ownership you're speaking about, speak with a mortgage advisor, mortgage broker. You know, find out how much you can actually borrow. You'd be surprised at the amount of people that I speak to that don't actually know what they can borrow, what the banks will lend them. They just have a figure in their mind that they'd like to spend on a property. So you have to speak with the mortgage advisor. And I always recommend getting a second opinion and speaking to maybe 2 or 3. Most of the time, their first consultations will be free. It's only when you actually go with them, you instruct them, that you have to actually pay for it. So get some second, third opinions together, and it just enables you to know what you can borrow, what to expect, what you should be looking online for. Because if you're told that you can borrow more than you thought you could, that will extend the bracket. That will extend the price bracket of what you're actually considering, and therefore it will just open up more opportunities. But if you don't speak with one of them, you're left thinking, okay, cool, I only want to spend 400k, but speak to somebody who can actually give you a proper financial breakdown of what's within your means, and you might find that you've got a bit more borrowing power.
Absolutely. It's interesting actually, because just before lockdown, literally, I think it was like the day before the big announcement, myself and Erica Fremantle, we actually filmed a first-time buyers course. It was just before lockdown, and everything happened, and we haven't really had a chance to really plug it. Erica Fremantle, for those that you don't know, is a bit of a property tycoon. She got into property really early. She's been in property since 1985. Absolutely knows her stuff. When she asked me to partner with her on this project, I was, to use a vernacular of the youth, I was gassed. And then we recorded this amazing. It's a first time buyers course, and it just gives kind of all of the knowledge and information that's needed to get on the property ladder. So it's really good actually. It's actually on the website under wealth creation and property. I'll put a direct link in the chat. Actually, it's in here, guys. So it's there. Definitely go and check it out. It's a great course, lots of value. If you're a first time buyer, definitely check that out. And I know something that Eric always says is, just do it, rather than procrastinating when it comes to being a first time buyer. Literally just do it. Just go for it. And like Tobias said, it's about taking action. A lot of people just procrastinate. You want to be a first time buyer? Get the information. Speak to a mortgage advisor. Find out what are the exact steps that's needed in order to get it over the line, and do whatever's needed. If you have to save 5%, then start saving for the 5%. Know exactly what's needed. Know the information. What is, the difference between freehold and a leasehold? Know the difference. That's a big. My first property that I bought, in fact, you know it, Tobias, 916 High Road. It was a nightmare because no one told me the difference between freehold and leasehold. So I'm with this leasehold, I'm paying like over £300 for service charges. Meanwhile, there's no lift, there's no gym, there's no cinema. Why am I paying £300? And I'm paying for a man to come and cut the grass once a month, and then to clean the windows. Then when I changed the windows to double glazing, they said they weren't going to clean the windows anymore because I defied the thing. So now I'm paying, and you're not even cleaning the windows.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
listen, it's always about learning. You can, always remain a student. Even while you've been speaking, I've taken a few notes myself, because we're in, this is why we have these kind of these meetings. There's always something to learn from other people. You're never too proud to learn anything. So
I'm going to read out some. So one of the questions we've got here is from someone in the States. How easy is it for foreigners, someone from the United States, to invest in UK real estate? So asking for a friend, although the guy's name is CK, the realtor. Yeah. How easy? So someone in the States, they want to invest in UK real estate.
Yeah. How easy is it to invest? I mean, obviously, you're going to want to know where's the best areas to invest. you're gonna be speaking to somebody, ideally a realtor in the UK, who kind of knows what kind of, for example, what kind of yields you're trying to achieve, what kind of return on investment. Do bear in mind though, as a non-resident landlord, so somebody that doesn't live within the UK, there is a 20% tax that you're going to have to pay, and sometimes you can apply to get it waived, but you have to apply to HMRC for that. And I'm actually walking somebody through this process now, because she's based in New York and she's bought here. But I do a lot of clients that are based overseas. A lot of honestly, I've been on the phone at 3 a.m. talking to Singapore at times, and just, it's London is the hub for everything. London is kind of where the culture, the arts, it's a big destination for a lot of people, and a lot of investors as well. A lot of buyers that look to kind of, make good profits over here. So the actual process of investing here for an overseas landlord, I think it's just about being in touch with the right kind of people that can guide you, and they're not just going to kind of take your money and run with it. Because obviously, you being based overseas, it's going to be a bit harder, but you're going to want to make use of the right technology. So, for example, when I list a property for sale, I do what's called a virtual tour. So I'll put my website in the chat box in a second. But I do a virtual tour with my sales properties, and that's specifically for people that are based overseas, or at this current point in time, people that are not trying to leave their houses, because some people are not quite ready yet. But and so for these virtual tours, they literally allow you to virtually walk around the property and to kind of see the different dimensions, and you've got the floor plans there. And it's basically to try and give you as much tools as possible to make an informative decision, an educated decision into actually purchasing a property, because otherwise you just got pictures, and you just got like a 2D version of things, whereas the virtual tour allows you to walk around virtually and see what the property has to offer.
Amazing.
So it's very much about trusting who you're dealing with that's overseas on your behalf. Having a buyer's agent, for example, somebody that's going to work on your behalf to actually fulfill your criteria, your investment criteria, and connect you, pull all the available properties and just give you a short list. I'm also a buyer's agent as well, so somebody that's just going to act on your behalf and be your local ear on the ground, feet on the ground, I should say. That's going to provide you up-to-date market insights, market trends, and just show you the best places to invest in.
Absolutely.
Depending on your criteria.
Superb. One of my good friends who's also on the platform, one of my best friends, Charlotte, she's a property, she does the buy and sell properties, buy them low and sell them high to make a profit. It's obviously a quite not a bad business, right? But in order to get properties that you can sell for a higher amount, you need to be able to source them and source them well.
Absolutely. This is where networking comes into things.
Okay.
I'm actually part of a network of just over 200,000 agents, right? And we operate in 40 countries. And so what this means is that if I don't particularly have the property myself, knowing what your criteria is, I can go out and find it for you. And I can basically, as a property sourcer, I can pull all those together for you and present you with them. And it just makes life a bit easier. You don't want to be speaking to multiple people all the time. You want somebody that you trust, you've grown to like, to actually be your end-to-end. And in America, I think they're quite big on the word realtor. I've learned in America, it's kind of the same person you stick with throughout your whole property journey. No matter how many times you move, you utilize the same person. In the UK, it's a little bit different. There's no loyalty, but people chop and change. But I'd like to think, and I actually do have repeat customers. The first property I rented, just as a recent example, first property I rented in lockdown last year, she now wants me to sell it. And so I'm getting the photos taken on Monday, and it's a church conversion in Hackney. It's going to be great. But people develop relationships with the people that they entrust with their criteria, and if you deliver a good service, people will come back to you, and that's growing organically. So in America, the realtor setup is pretty much what I understand is that you're guided throughout all of your real estate journey by one person or one firm, I should say.
Love that. So can you help to source properties below market value? Like real
I can
genuine.
do. I'm in touch. I collaborate frequently with an auction house, and I'm actually I've introduced somebody to them recently. So it's not something that it's not the forefront of my business, but absolutely, if a client comes to me and says, you know, I'm looking for this, I'm not having much luck, I can actually source off-market opportunities that are perhaps not available to everybody at once.
Yeah, because
Um,
my understanding from when I was in the buying and selling game, and is that you guys have like a secret list,
yeah.
an under the table list, because obviously
Mhm.
if someone wants to sell a house quick, the they're inclined to visit an estate agent, someone that they know, and say, look, I need to sell this quick for whatever reason. They have, urgent reasons. They are motivated sellers, and they go to the estate agent. And then you guys have this list,
Yeah.
and the best ones you guys keep for yourselves or family and friends. And then, the next tier would be your high net worth people who can move very quickly. And then, and then it may see the light of day on your
Honestly, I don't kind of categorize people, so I don't give one batch to whoever and one to the other. It's literally it's first come first served. I think you got to deal with everyone in the same kind of way. You might mention like, okay, I've got this that's coming up. For example, I just rented a 3-bedroom penthouse which never saw the light of day. No marketing, no nothing, no pictures, just word of mouth, just speaking to the right people and saying this is what I've got available. And lo and behold, I haven't had to spend any money on marketing, haven't had to get any photos taken. It's gone. Asking price, landlord's happy, tenants are excited, and so am I.
Amazing. We've got quite a few questions to get through, so I'm going to stop asking my own. Obviously, this is a particular passion of mine. We could talk property all day, but we can just do that
Yeah.
on our own time. So I've asked that one. What are you? Okay, done that one as well.
No, put me on the spot
This
there.
is amongst all the ones and the gems, and so I'm trying to pull out all the. Okay, this was a
Yeah.
private one. Where to start when wanting to mortgage a property and start a company, then move the property into company name? Where to start when wanting to
Where to start?
remortgage? What's a remortgage? Yes, because it was on different lines. Wanting
Yeah.
to remortgage
Speak
a
to your
property.
mortgage broker. Speak to your mortgage broker. They've got up to date. They'll obviously have up to date knowledge of the market and the kind of the best deals that are going. If you ask me personally, I would put you in touch with my mortgage broker because I'm not one person that's gonna, if I haven't got the answer how you want to hear it, I'm gonna put you in touch with somebody that has, and that's something that I've worked towards. I've got a team around me, mortgage brokers, solicitors, tradesmen.
Power team.
So power team, I like that. So even if the question is kind of out of my jurisdiction, I wouldn't want to misguide you, and I definitely put you in touch with the right person that can actually steer you in the right direction.
Amazing. In terms of investment, would you ideally look to buy in an area that's up and coming, or does that not really matter? And how would you find out, like in terms of market research? How would you find that out? Like if an area is up and coming. So if you're looking to do an investment, you would be looking at up and coming areas. So for ages, it was always, all the areas along the Crossrail. That was the big thing where I live. Up and coming areas. Maybe they've just announced a shopping center or.
Yeah, you've got to keep your ear to the ground. You've got to, pick up newspapers and read the business side of things. Look for things that like new amenities that come into the area, like Crossrail, like a Westfield shopping center. Look for large regeneration schemes. Like where I live in the East Village, it's so built up now. They're still building things. They're building East Bank. So there's so much going on here. Smithsonian Museum, London College of Fashion, UAL, things like that. It's going to be amazing when it's completed. But in terms of investment, it's slowed down a bit. Everywhere you look, there's cranes. So if you're looking to really make the most of your income, you want to kind of be ahead of the curve. You want to be ahead of the curve and look towards future regeneration schemes, areas that are going to have a lot of money piled into them, and then find out what the reason is. Because if, for example, it's Crossrail, you can even look further along the line. And so if you miss out on investing in the core, you can still kind of benefit from the regeneration scheme or the actual the activity that's going on that's going to boost property prices. And little things like there being a Waitrose in the proximity of your property, that's actually a USP. USP is a unique selling point. So that actually is something that will increase the price of your property if you live in close proximity to a Waitrose.
Wow.
So just to summarize, you want to keep your ear to the ground. You want to find out where money is being invested into. Find out what kind of changes to infrastructure are happening, infrastructure like transport links and such, and speak to. I've got a few friends that work for TFL, and I speak to them quite closely, and they keep me afloat on certain things. And so it's just you never know who to speak to. So somebody in TFL, they're going to know about the train lines. They're going to know about what's getting extended or what's a new station when a new station is appearing here and things like that. So it's about keeping your ear to the ground, reading the news, business pages definitely, homes and property, the back pages definitely keep an eye out for those, and just look for where the government is spending money really. Because
Amazing.
they know before everyone. They know before everyone. So look where the government is spending their money and follow the yellow brick road.
Absolutely. Just to add to that as well, town hall meetings as well. If there are any like town hall meetings, just definitely go. A lot of stuff gets said in those meetings, guys. I used to be a school governor, and through that I got invited to like these town hall meetings, and a lot of stuff that you just wouldn't even think of gets discussed there. Things
Yeah,
get passed, things get agreed, things get ring fenced, things get stopped, like, that's not happening here, and just by not turning up to these things, a lot of things are just happening in your absence. So
yeah, yeah. That's it. It might not be of immediate interest to you, but there'll be some gems that you pick up, and always carry a notepad with you. I always carry a notepad just to take notes down and just be prepared. Always take notes, always learn, and you never know what you'll pick up. Speak to people that are in the industry, speak to friends. Um, there's so much you can learn just by talking to people, honestly.
I think I might take this question here. It's from Maya. If you're self-employed as a freelancer and also employed, would you suggest showing both forms of income in order to see what to borrow, or would the employment make lenders more skeptical to lend? So obviously, I'm just going to put my mortgage broker hat on.
Yeah.
So when it comes to buying a house, you want to show as much as possible. You definitely want to show as much as possible. So it wouldn't make them skeptical at all. Um, the key thing with self-employed income is that you have got SA 302s, that you have tax returns. A lot of people do self-employed work, but they don't. So the thing with self-employed people is that they want to look poor to their accountant, but then they want to look rich to their mortgage broker. And the two things that marry up. So you have to ensure that you're reporting correctly. So if you know you are going into a mortgage application, then you want to show as much as possible, because what they will do is they will combine your income, and then they will use a formula to work out how much you can borrow. Okay. The caveat to that is that yes, they will look at how much money you're making, and they will do something like times it by 5 or times it by 4.5 and give you a total amount. So if combined you're earning 100K a year, then you should be able to borrow roughly 400K or 450K. Okay. The only caveat to that is if they look at everything that you're doing and they're like, that this seems unsustainable. So you're working 10 hours here and then you're working 12 hours here. Like, is this sustainable? So as much as you're bringing all this money, is it so they'll look at how sustainable the two jobs are at the same time as well. So that's something to bear in mind. But as long as it's sustainable, guys, mortgage brokers are actually very aware of the fact that most people have a side hustle. Like the whole time I was doing mortgage broking, most of my clients had a little side hustle, and it was absolutely fine. Okay. So yeah, I would show as much as possible if you need to. If you don't need to, because what you have from your income, and maybe if you've got a partner, their income, if it's enough, then you don't need to show it. Don't show what you don't need to show. But if you do need to show it in order to get it over the line, then definitely do that. Where are the best areas to buy to let in London?
At the moment, I might be a bit biased, but there's definitely great opportunity in East. East is one of the last places in London where money has been invested in, and therefore areas like Barking, Dagenham, they're slowly getting built up. So in Barking, there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of new builds going on around there, which is providing landlords with some great returns. And the market for sales is also quite buoyant around there as well. At Dagenham. I sold a property there in November, an end of terrace that I sold it for more than 20,000 above the asking price, and that's because the demand is so high. people really trying to capitalize on areas in East London where they can actually either purchase and then invest, purchase and then refurbish and then sell on. And the same with lettings properties, because people don't necessarily need to be right in the thick of things. They're going more towards the outskirts, and there's great transport links, like I said, in parts of East London. You've got the Olympic legacy that's just kind of just spread out and made it such a must have kind of area, for professionals, families, investors. There's so much activity here, so I'd definitely say aim your sights to the east. I remember I checked every year or so, Foxtons, excuse me for mentioning another agent, but they produce a list of the 10 best areas to invest in, and there's Barking and Dagenham have always been on that list. East London have always been on that list because of the the return on investments and the property prices and return on investment. So it's definitely worth getting a map out and just seeing the different areas in East London. There was, not too long ago, it was Bethnal Green, areas along the Crossrail, obviously. But East London is kind of one of the last locales in London to actually have money invested in it, and that's why it's pretty much a hotspot at the moment.
Yeah, just to second that, Barking and Dagenham. Just last year, I bought a 3-bed in on Verney Gardens in Barking and Dagenham. It already gone up in value. Built into the loft. In fact, I need to give you that property actually to manage. My uncle's in there at the moment. Once I get my uncle out, I can give you the property.
That notice.
Yeah, I can't serve him. You can't serve now, can you? Because of lockdown, right? I want to serve him.
Yeah, extended.
I want to set section 21. I want to
what? Tenants have so many more rights than landlords. Tenants have so many more rights than landlords. So it's since the tenant fee ban, it's kind of skewed things massively. I spoke to a lot of disgruntled landlords who are like, I can't do anything right now because all the laws are the tenants' favors. So definitely give that a bit of thought. I'm a member of a lot of forums as well. So if you for little tips and advice and stuff, I register with Landlord Daily, Estate Agent Daily, Lettings Agent Daily, things like this. And there's all sorts of questions that they answer, and it just keeps me abreast of things.
Yeah, Harold Wood was the other one. Harold Wood is another RM3 is another one to look at as well.
You're giving your secrets away, huh?
Hello, sorry?
You're giving all your secrets away. Huh? Have you already done your thing in them?
RM3
you already monopolized it.
my next target. As an agent, what are your thoughts on rent to rent or rent to service accommodation? I'm going to give a shameless plug for my book that's about to be released soon, which talks about rent to rent, talks about rent to service accommodation. Starting your property side hustle by Des Amey. We will be released in the next few weeks. Right. What are your thoughts on rent to rent and rent to service accommodation?
Well, in that case, you might be the best one to answer, but my personal thoughts, I mean, I've spoken to a lot of rent to renters. It's not something I'm personally involved in, but I deal with a lot of rent to rent agents, and the current climate hasn't been the best. I know a lot of agents have forfeited their properties for long-term rents because less people are moving and traveling and whatnot. But I couldn't really speak from experience on this, and I don't know if Des, you wanna add a little bit to that. How have you found it? Because I it's not something that I've been involved in, but I do know that it's very lucrative.
Would a rent to renter be your rival?
Not particularly. If the head lease permitted subletting is something that it's something that I could accommodate. Do you know what I mean? It's not. I wouldn't see it as a rival at all.
The reason why I say that is because you've got rent to renters out there who are getting properties from landlords, and you want properties from landlords. Yeah. So you're kind of in the same market, right?
Yeah, it depends on the landlord's aspirations. This is why I didn't really want to answer the question, because I might step on a few toes. But like, there are pros and cons of short-term tenants versus long-term tenants.
We'll leave it there.
For those that are in the rent to rent, I'm sure you're aware of what the pros are.
So what I say, I'll say openly with an estate agent as my guest. So for me, what rent to renters offer is no agent fees.
I see your comment, Mike.
no agent fees and rent paid up front. Do you do that, by the way? Can you do guaranteed rent?
I haven't had anybody approach me about that, so I haven't I haven't had to. Sometimes you get a letter of guarantee as well, right? I haven't had anybody approach me about it as yet, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't turn it down, basically.
Okay, I'm aware of the time. So there's a nice question here. Um, Speaking of the nightmare of leaseholds, I'm tired of paying for service charges on my London property. I want to sell up. I want to sell up because of it, but I can't help thinking I'll be shooting myself in the foot due to
Oh yeah.
value when I sell. At present, the value hasn't increased. What would you advise? So she's got a leasehold, paying crazy service charges, wants to sell, but then she's like, oh, if I sell it and it goes up,
It's
that
based on your circumstances. If you need to sell it, that's your answer. If you don't, play the long game. I mean, I'm not into. Des is obviously a guy for finance, and he'll tell you if you're investing in like a stock, it's more about the long game. You've invested in a property. If it's not yielding you what you want it to yield, and you need the money, it might be time to start thinking about selling, especially with the incentives that are going on now. But if it's something that you can hold on onto, I'd recommend it. I'd only recommend selling a property if you actually, it was a necessity to. Otherwise, hold on to it.
makes sense. Makes sense, guys. We could talk property all day.
We actually could. I didn't even know that it was 10.
Yeah, I know. I want to respect people's time. I've seen a question here. How is the supply and demand status during COVID for residential homes, and do you have access to multi-family properties?
This is for let. There's lettings.
It's
Oh,
not clear, but
residential homes.
purchase.
Okay. Well, a lot of residential homes, as in like care homes, do you mean, CK?
I think he's from the States, so it might be
Yeah, I can see. Yeah.
terminology. Um, okay, we'll get
I'll
that.
tell you what. Let me put my details.
Yeah.
Let me put my details in here. Any questions you do have? Because I think I don't know
Oh,
how long
there's
we're
a
running
good
on.
one there for you, Tobias. A house sitting in Barking since December, no tenants. Would I be able to get some help getting this rented out? I know just the man. His name is John. He's a
How you gonna
so,
do me like that? I was thinking, what's happening here?
so
Um,
definitely, if you can spend a moment just putting in your
I
Instagram
will.
handles,
I will.
your telephone number, any contact details, guys. Any other questions? Reach out to Tobias directly.
I'm gonna sound like such a rookie, but to skip the line on Zoom, is it not shift and enter?
Shift and enter. Yeah,
It is. Let me just try it. You see, like, anyway. Oh gosh.
yeah. Guys, absolutely incredible. Because he's putting the details in, I'm not gonna flood the chat box just yet. But I hope you have got amazing amounts of value. As you can see, Tobias definitely knows his stuff. It almost feels like a redundant question. I'm gonna ask it anyway. Do capture those details before I ask the question because it's about to get wild in the chat box, guys. So capture those details right now.
Capture those details.
Capture, especially the website name.
Yeah.
Oh, can you put your Instagram handle there,
Yeah,
please?
sorry.
Please, if you can, guys, just take a little recording of this and just tag Tobias on Instagram. And if you tag myself as well, I will share it as well. That would be great.
I do a lot of marketing on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn as well.
My handle, for those that don't know, is there as well. So yeah, tag us on Facebook, guys. But if you have got any kind of value whatsoever from this call, can you please blow up the chat box however way you wish? If you've got some value from this call, guys, in any way, shape, or form, because it's not easy getting a guy like this on the show.
I'll tell you what, guys, I'm nervous. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be so honest with you, right? I'll be so honest with you. I actually had a shower before this Zoom. I combed my hair. I thought I haven't had a haircut.
I thought you looked different.
Yeah. Oh, man. Trust me. I was nervous. But yeah, you guys have been great.
You're a TV star.
Listen, that was a hard thing for me to do, I'm more behind the lens, but I had to be in front of it.
So this was more scary than BBC.
Yeah. Because I can't see you guys.
None of us bite.
There's no camera crew like filming, and I can't see anybody here. I can see,
I've been getting a lot of private messages, bro. A lot of private messages from a lot of ladies as well.
Oh, but you know, I can't. By the time the Zoom's finished, I won't be able to read everything. But listen, thank you all for your
a lot
support.
of private messages.
I really appreciate that.
Absolutely,
really appreciate the support.
incredible.
And watch Rent Like a Boss on iPlayer. Watch that. I think it comes off the air in October. So check that out. Let me know what you think.
Wow. I've just seen that private message. Calm down. Incredible. Wow. I think David Talbot has watched it. He can vouch for it. He said it's really good.
Thank you, guys.
Incredible. Guys, connect with Tobias, especially if you have a property to rent. If you guys, I'm speaking from experience. I'm giving you my testimony right now when it comes to looking after property. Absolutely superb. So yeah, 100% can vouch. If you're selling a property, if you're buying a property, get in touch with Tobias. He is your man. So guys, thank you for attending this session. I'm glad that you got lots of value. A big thank you to Tamer as well, helping to organize this and put it all together. Absolutely superb. Amazing stuff, bro.
Thank you so much.
We had 65 on the call live, and there's going to be hundreds watching it back on replay as well. I'm definitely going to be in touch.
Thank you very much for having me, and everyone have a good evening. Thanks for tuning in.
Leave us with a gem. Like I want like a proper gem.
You want the VS1, yeah?
I want like your top drawer gem.
Yeah. All right. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. That's a quote by Maya Angelou. And my twin sister is also called Maya. She's in the group chat. I see you. Spelt the same.
Say behind you.
Go on my website and you go into the About Me section. That is where you'll find that, because that same energy is what my company is run on. So my gem is always make people feel. You know, it's not about talking. It's not about, it's not. Yeah, I'm trying to be too deep for no reason.
Nice. Good.
It's about making people feel like you care. All right. It's not about talking about it. It's not about anything other than just being true and being a person that they want to
big be. Gem. Massive gem. Guys, I've been Des Amey. He's been Tobias Alexander, and he will make you fall in love.
Yeah, the tagline, fall in love with living.
Fall in love with living.
I love that. Yeah, I forgot. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely evening.
Amazing. Cheers, guys. Have a great evening. This has been recorded. It will be shared as well.
Well done, yay!
I feel like those news reporters after they...
wasn't your mum a famous news reporter?
My mum was actually one of the first black women on British television. So
that's correct.
Juliet
I do my research on all my guests.
Yeah.
Hi, Tobias.
My sister's there.
Was that your sister?
Yes, my twin.
I heard so much about her.
I hope good stuff.
We used to talk about you every networking meeting.
Yeah.
I can see your baby picture behind him as well.
Oh. What did he say at the networking?
What goes on the networking meeting stays in the networking meeting, unfortunately.
And that's his mum. My mum too, sorry.
Oh, is that mum as well?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He genuinely always talks about you as well.
Oh, look, my brother's in there as well.
And there's my younger brother.
The whole Alexander clan. Are you related to Junior Alexander? So I noticed you like each other's stuff.
Do you know what? I had to ask him if you were related.